Welcome back. Our financial topic today, keep voting for solid investment moves. Here to break down this topic, we are joined now by Gabe Rockers with Edward Jones. Gabe, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you guys for having me, and thank you for allowing me to sponsor this segment.
Of course, of course. So it's election season, you know, the presidential election, less than 2 months away now, which is crazy to think about. And here we have this topic, keep voting for solid investment moves. Now, Gabe, what should we keep in mind when considering how potential political outcomes and policies may affect our financial future?
Great question. So first and foremost, politics and thinking about political legislation or party positions, I really believe it invokes emotion. And that's just fine. We should have some passion about what we care about. But as an investor and as an advisor to clients, we want to do quite the opposite. We want to make investment decisions without invoking emotion. Because traditionally, if we use emotion with our investment decisions, we tend to buy high and sell low. And we want to buy low and sell high. And so with obviously everybody getting beat over the head with political advertisements and campaign promises, I want to kind of remind people that we want to, again, make our investment decisions without having a real political undertone or making those decisions based upon our party thinking. Because the reality is you can go back to 1970 and the S&P 500 has averaged over a 10% return per year over that last 50 plus years. And in that last 50 plus years, you've seen Republican presidencies with Republican Congresses. You've seen Democratic presidencies with Democratic Congresses, and you've seen split tickets where you had either a Republican president or a Democratic president, and Congress was the opposite party. And so, again, politicians will make campaign promises. Those campaign promises don't always hold true, and we shouldn't be making our investment-related decisions based upon party politics.
Definitely.
What often drives market outcomes more is maybe decisions by the Fed. The Fed controls interest rates, not Congress. And so those interest rate decisions have an impact on areas of the economy, and that can really impact the growth rates of the economy.
So you've made some great points about don't base it off of campaign promises, which often aren't always kept. You know, that economic progress doesn't always depend on Washington. And as you were talking about, there's a lot of outside factors besides what's going on in Washington and the White House that are driving financial outcomes, really.
Absolutely, absolutely. So interest rates are a big catalyst for what might drive the economy. You look at employment, you look at potentially geopolitical happenings across the globe. Maybe there's military actions that invoke fear. Another thing is to really maybe look at oil markets, oil supply, oil demand. These things have a real direct outcome on global economic conditions. And it's those things that tend to drive the nearer term movements of the markets.
So when both sides are anxious about election outcomes, we can know there are things well within our control that are tried and true that we can go ahead and do. Gabe, how can we get in contact to discuss these investment moves for ourselves personally?
So anybody can pull Edward Jones up online. There's several branch offices in the area. We're on the South Belt down near the Tractor Supply and the Walmart. If somebody wants to pop in and introduce himself, we'd be glad to find a time that's effective for their schedule to get in and dig in and meet and understand what's important to them.
Excellent. Well, Gabe Rockers, Edward Jones, thanks for joining us today, giving us this information.
Again, thank you all for having me and allowing me to sponsor this segment.
Of course. And stay with us. We'll be right back after a break.